Okay, all right, folks. So, welcome to our monthly meeting. Today is June 23rd. It is the summer. I hope you have some good vacations planned ahead of you. Um, Make sure you do take those vacations. Don't work through the summer, okay? Vacations are important. It's good to recharge and get some energy so that you can continue your work throughout the winter. So, I do want to make sure that we talk about the respectful code of conduct for this meeting. I want to ensure that there is no folks not being respectful, but I know that everyone will be good here. Next, do we have any new faces? I'm trying to scan the Zoom here. The interpreters are our new faces today. We have two new interpreters
Yeah.
present with us that have not been a part of this meeting in the past. Our next topic would be Sandeep. Your topic is regarding the North America topic. Go ahead, please. You have the floor.
Okay. Uh, so I just wanted to say that the CFP for the co-located event it closes on June 30th. So like we have about 6 days if you are planning to apply for the co-located talk. And uh, and if you have submitted for the main cube contract, you can submit the same, probably rehash it a bit to one of the co-located events as well. So actually, people are thinking that if they're submitted for the main event, they should not be submitting for co-located, but it is actually reversed. The CFP itself encourages people to apply for the main as well as for the co-located. So you still have about 6 days time and figure out which co-located event your main talk could fit and you can just apply to it. Like in KubeCon London, the talk I submitted for the main event, it did not get accepted, but the same talk was accepted for the co-located event. So I would encourage you all to use this opportunity. There is still 6 more days and to try and apply for the CFP. And the next thing that I have on the next thing that I have is I was to travel to Denver to attend the open source summit, but I had to cancel my plans at the last minute. So thankfully, Matt, who was our ally, who was running around helping us with all of the kiosk booth in the KubeCon London, he is representing the deaf and the hard of hearing working group, and he has a panel talk tomorrow morning at about 11 a.m. PST. So I think that's all that I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we have the co-location sign up. Do we have any folks who have submitted for that? This is Anastasia. Yes, I have applied for the Oregon. Okay, amazing.
Ah,
Anyone else have anything?
Anastasia and Kostis are my de facto always in a co-located event together.
This is Milad. Who would like to host an event together? We can definitely discuss this on Slack, and we can choose who would be available for that. What do you think?
Jay is asking which event?
Yeah. It seems like the captioning there's an issue there.
I think Vlad got the
Are
wrong
you
contact.
are you having the same, are you okay with the captions? Is everything good there?
if I may, real quick, I think there was a misunderstanding. Sandeep was just excited to see Anastasia always teaming up with Costas. So that was just a comment.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, that was an interpreter error. My apologies. Thank you. All right, thank you so much. And then Catherine, this is her sign name, Catherine, for the interpreter, so that he knows. All right, folks, we will move on. We will go to Anastasia. This is Anastasia. Okay, great. So I did want to talk about the deaf in Cloud Native for the KobaCon meeting summit. So this summit has already been planned for this week, but it has been postponed due to a lot of changes within the CNCF. So I communicated with CNCF, the marketing group. It's been a little bit of a slow pace lately, so I've been waiting for the new date. It may be July 15th, but we're not 100% sure. It has not been determined just yet. So I do want to give you a heads up that this will be happening, but we're not sure on the date yet. I want to share something new. So we have best practices guidelines for the conference, but now we are working on the best practices guide for job interviews to help engineers interview deaf folks in a better approach and way. This is critical because a lot of employers don't actually understand how to interview deaf and hard of hearing engineers. So this guide will help teach how to provide accommodation needs for interviews. This document does have different parts. The first part is actually regarding deaf folks who utilize sign language interpreters. The other portion is about deaf folks who use captioning and do not use sign language interpreters. I need help writing that second portion. So those of you who utilize captions solely and not sign language interpreters in interview processes, I would love for you to partner and support me with this document. If we need to add another section in there about deaf and hard of hearing folks, because some deaf and hard of hearing people have various needs when it comes to accommodations, and some need interpreters, some need captioning. And if you think that I need to add more information, please do send me a message in the Slack channel, in the Deaf and Hard of Hearing channel that we have going, and we can talk more about that there. Also, we do need volunteers to help us write these guides. Yeah, I look forward to continuing to work on this guide to make things better and things more accessible for the deaf and hard of hearing community. This is Milad. Okay, so Anastasia, you expanded on two things. So you talked about the deaf folks within Cloud Native. It looks like we'll have a response for that event, but it has been a pretty slow process. Hopefully soon we'll see more changes and it'll go back to normal because the organization is now preparing for that. And then you also, any comments or thoughts about deaf folks in Cloud Native? I do see Catherine, and then I also see Sandeep. Is that regarding Cloud Native or a different topic?
So yes, I actually have a question that what exactly is blocking you from holding the event? Like if you want to hold a KubeCon recap session, what exactly is preventing you?
What objectives? Asking about the objectives.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm asking you want to hold a KubeCon recap session, So what is preventing you from having the session? What has CNCF organization changes got to do with your session? How they are linked? Because every month I am organizing CNCF local meetups in my town. So what has it got to do? What has the organizational changes got to do with us holding a meetup?
This is Anastasia. I can answer your question, Sandeep. So, in the past, we had two people that would organize the meetings. One in particular is Libby. She is no longer a part of CNCF. So we have a new individual organizing. Also, we have two folks on the CNCF marketing team. There's a new form that you need to fill out. So you can't request directly. You need to fill out a form, and then you also need to wait for a response and communicate with the team. Um, I think it's I've, some software that starts with an A. I can't spell it at the moment, but there is a software that we need to communicate through. But this software is not as fast as it should be. But yes, we do want to start organizing and booking slots at the moment, but as of right now, I do not have all of that information. The CNCF marketing team is currently working on that at this moment.
And we're switching interpreters. Okay, so next here on the agenda, Catherine.
Not on the agenda, just like I wanted to add something to Anastasia's doc for best practices for interviewing deaf candidates. Actually, I've been wanting to have this doc done like for a long time because I think it's really important. And just recently, a hiring manager reached out to me who happened to interview a deaf candidate, asking me tons of questions because he didn't want to, he wanted just to know what to do. And so that tells me that even if you are talking to HR, HR may not provide the information that is needed, or maybe sometimes I know some of you have said that HR is not really paying attention, right? They're like, oh, yeah, sure, we'll do it. And then you don't find the things. And so I just wanted to let you know from the perspective of a hiring manager, the information doesn't get there. So they cannot really provide the accessibility you need if they don't know it. So there is a whole, there is first HR needs to know what to do, but HR needs to also provide that information, takes it seriously enough to pass that information on to the hireman. So there are so many layers, right? It's a little bit like the telephone game, right? Because it's not like ultimately you're talking to the hiring manager and not to HR. So yeah, I just wanted to say like how important I think this is, and especially talking to someone who kind of less genuinely asking questions and obviously had no idea and the question that what needed to be done. So that, and then also I know, and I'm pretty sure whenever you had an interview, you provided information in an email what you need, right? And so if you send it as an email, it may just come across, yeah, sure, they want that. Or maybe they're being difficult. They want to bring their own interpreter. They're just being difficult. Like we see interpreters being exchanged, like, like wherever, when you see in the UN, no one knows their interpreter. Why do you and deaf people need their interpreter? It's different. So you need to explain the why, the reasoning, so people don't think you're just being picky. It's really necessary and why it's necessary. And so I think, and I told Anastasia, I think what I can bring to that document. So if you say like what you need there, I think the perspective that I can bring is the perspective of someone who may not necessarily know anyone who's deaf, because I learned a lot of these things. And generally, a lot of things are just not clear, right? So we need to explain the why. So yeah, check it out. We need everyone's help. And I think, yeah, because I really think that every single person on this call will benefit from it, right? And having like also the difference between you sending an email with what you need, this will be an official document published on a CNCF site. If you send that, it will be taken a lot more serious than, oh, this is what I want. Because unfortunately, people sometimes think like that, you know, they think, oh, that's just this person. No, this is actually best practices. It's official, it's published. So please, yeah, please take the time, help Anastasia work on that. And I think you will all benefit from it. It will all be a really good resource.
And it will also help with
And
our
this is
advocacy effort.
Milad.
Oh,
It will also help
this
us
is
with our
Milad here. I
advocacy
just-
effort. Sorry.
Yeah, so just this is Milad, when we're talking in terms of accessibility and accommodations with content, is there anyone here that can add to it? And Anastasia is saying we do have a document that can be added and edited and added to. And Milad saying, I'm more than happy to help. And we can continue the conversation on Slack, on the Slack channel as well. And so again, I really appreciate Anastasia's very detailed explanation of the document and then also the comments. Are there any other questions or comments before we moved on to the next topic?
Sandeep, right? Yeah.
Catherine, thank you for the very detailed context. That was very helpful.
Of course.
Agreed. This is Milad, agreed. Okay, so I'm on for the next topic here. So I will be putting off one hat and putting on another. So in Cloud Native, I'm trying to remember, it was about a month ago, we hosted a discussion with Destiny. And we talked about contributions, and it was a very great conversation with multiple perspectives. And there was also another talk. Emily Fox, I believe, was the one who participated in that, as well as YouTube. And it was just very inspirational. So next, there's KubeCon. There's a video that's being put together for that, and it will be shown. If anyone has other videos, please do get those uploaded to DB, and then they can be, more videos can be edited. And if not, then we will get started at the end of June, or at the end of June, we'll start doing the captioning process. And if there's a new video that's thrown in there kind of late, it kind of slows the process down for adding captions. So if those videos can be uploaded to the cloud or Google Drive, that would be great, and just let us know. And that's it for my part. Are there any questions related to those two topics? Going once, going twice. Okay, the next topic is going to be led by Jay. Want to make sure everyone can see me. It looks like my internet is a little bit glitchy. And Travis is saying, I am seeing I am seeing that. Okay, looks like it, is it a little bit better now? So now we're going to be talking about signing the signing glossary. So it has been finalized after much detailed work. Thank you to everyone for your feedback. It is so much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just wanted to make sure that everyone is happy with the finished product.
Malad said, of
How does
course,
it-
okay.
Great. So the next step in this will be submitting it to CNCF's team. They have some guidelines about how they're officially submitted and how it will how the draft will be portrayed. And so that will be what's worked on this week. And I think it should be taking about 7 to 10 days before it's finalized. So we might see it sometime in July go live, but I will keep you updated with any changes. So the next topic is new signs. And I know that there's a new sign for Pod. And so we're taking a look at that document and looking to add to the glossary. And I am aware that Libby is going to be taking that and uploading a video. And since she left, we have to just kind of go back and revisit. And that is also a part of my plan for this week, to revisit that document. And then I'm thinking that there might be a meeting in July. And we can talk about adding new signs and who will be doing those signs. And I will be in touch about that. And that's it for now, unless there's any questions. And Malad does have one. Malad is saying, thank you so much just for the planning and leadership. You've done a great job, and I'm hoping that they can make it happen in July. And if they do, it will just be amazing. We'll have to go to the North America Atlanta celebration or assembly, I'm hoping. We shall see if it actually happens. And one thing I did want to add for the video and for the sign pod, there has been some comments that the lighting needs to be adjusted. And I think we don't really need to worry so much about the quality as much as getting things uploaded in time. And then from there, improvements can be made, but again, it doesn't need to be perfect for now. We want to just see it happen. At least that's my thought. And Jay saying someone had said that perfection is the enemy of good. So we don't always need things to be perfect. If it stalls us, we can just move forward and grow as we go. And Malad says, I cannot wait for what we may see in July. Ooh, my hands are getting hot. Now, are there any questions before we move on? Or any questions regarding the glossary? Okay, well then we will move on to the next agenda from Andres. Saying, I just went to Mexico and there was an event there. I was with Alfonso. We were teaming together. I'm very grateful for him. And the event was called VISO. And it was focused on deaf signing in Mexico, so LSM. And we shared the work with the group there, and they were very interested. We talked about QR and spoke with the people there and showed the work that we have done thus far, which was very exciting. And then the second event that we went to was with another community in Mexico, with AWS. And when we went there, I also went with Alfonso. And we talked about accommodations and how to request accommodations. And unfortunately, it was kind of a bad experience. And no criticism to them, but it's important to just be thorough in communication in terms of best practices for accommodations for deaf people. And we heard from others as well about just like that type of problem, and that problem is still there, and the issue of not having best practices, and also for dealing with things last minute. It's like giving a plan C, and the plan C was to have an interpreter on the phone. But if you can imagine trying to watch an interpreter on the phone, plus attending to what was going on in person, plus having captions kind of in an awkward location. But again, everything was kind of done last minute. It should have been addressed in the beginning and with more details. So having that type of document will be very helpful. It needs to be added to. So that was my experience at those two events. And we'll go ahead and just switch interpreters really quick.
This is Milad. Oh, did you have something?
Yeah, I have a question, a follow-up for Andres, if that's okay. So Andres, did you share the best practices that we've written for conferences with AWS, the team?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
Alfonso did share that.
Okay, great.
We actually shared that a month before the conference. This is Alfonso. Yes, I shared it a month before, and then I had to ask again if they were going to provide those best practices. So it was up until Wednesday before the conference started, and they confirmed that there were no interpreters.
Okay.
We actually had to remind them 3 times, Andres says.
Yes.
This is Alfonso. So I know that they have had interpreters in the past, but it seems like the AWS community is different. But the other one, I think it was the summit, the AWS summit, they always have interpreters there. Uh, I think and I know that they have that every year, but AWS community is different. And then this means August for the interpreter, FYI. So in August they did have interpreters last year, but I don't know. I guess AWS community is different than the summit. So
Yeah, so okay, Anastasia.
oh, this is Anastasia. I do want to clarify, Alfonso, did you sent an email 3 times, but AWS did not respond? Is that correct? This is Alfonso. Yes. Okay. This is Andres. I do also want to add to that. So he sent an email initially and they responded, what are the best accommodations, sign language interpreters or captioning? And we had requested both. And we had no response after that. We reached out again, asked what their progress was, and they again responded with, do you want interpreters or captioning? So when we showed up to the conference, unfortunately, they did not have any of those accommodations. This is Anastasia. I do want to add about my experience in the UK. It's very similar to that.
Yeah, so and Andres, you said like it's not their fault or something like that, and you were very nice. If you said yes, it is their fault. I'm sorry. If you emailed 3 times, they promised you to do something, they don't do something, that's not okay. It is okay, like if you send them something a month before and they don't have time to implement the full thing, that's understandable, you know, because we have like a full it's very extensive, like the best practices that we recommend. But AWS is not a local community event with no budget, to be clear. Right? Like, so they do have money. They can afford to have interpreters. They simply chose to ignore you because they didn't think it was important enough. Right? So it's not like, oh, so that has to be very clear. So the best response there, or the best tool that you can use, is public shaming. So write a post, Anastasia, that's something really great, tag them, tag AWS Mexico, tag AWS HQ. You know, you have to be careful how you kind of say it. Just say like, oh, this was terrible. It was like, yeah, just be very objective. This is what we've done. They told us 3 times. It's very frustrating. It made us feel, and how it makes you feel, you know, like just very, explain what happened and how it made you feel and how you could not participate. And then, yeah, just public shaming. And then that's how they learn, you know, like if it starts popping out and people start, I mean, unfortunately, it's not going to get viral with our group because we're not big enough, but we have to do it every single time. And so, no, it's not okay. It's not the same as a KCD in Austin, which has 0 budget, and they, you know, it's all like community that, you know, they will try to do something, but they don't have like, you know, like it's understandable. I don't know. AWS is not understandable. It's one of the most profitable companies in the world.
This is Andres. Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Catherine. And that specific day when I showed up, I did send out like a shame post. You can actually see that in the Slack channel. I'm not sure if you saw that.
I saw a post, probably didn't pay too much attention on the content because I was busy. But did you also you tagged everyone, right? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
I put all that in LinkedIn.
Okay. Okay, that was good, but that just to be clear, it's not okay. I just want to make sure it's not okay. And don't take that as normal.
You, Catherine.
So that was like
Oh, I see that there are more
community day,
hands.
or was it a AWS summit, or was it a community day?
They did not provide interpreters for the community event. This is Milad. Do you feel like that community event was small? AWS was a partner, correct? This is Andres. Yes, AWS was a partner, but it was sponsored by multiple companies within Mexico. And I know that they do have the money to be able to pay for interpreters and also accommodations. When I showed up into one of the main rooms, it was huge. And there was folks in the audience that were provided with like audio connections. So they do have the money to support that.
Okay. Catherine. Okay, Catherine. I think the same thing has happened multiple times. Okay. I mean, we are sharing the best practices document, and Anastasia also shared it before. Andres shared it. So I think it could be that our document is too long. Probably we split it into different documents. Like Andres wants an interpreter. I want a caption. So maybe we split it and just share like a very short summary, so that it's much easier for them to go through. Like if you give them like a 3-page document, they're like, I don't have the time to go through this. But if you give them like 5 to 6 bullet points, that will be more.
To be honest, I think you're giving them too much credit. I think there's a lot of, oh, this is not so important. You can actually link to different, because people just think like, oh, it's just one person, right? But how does that make make that person feel. So it's like I think there's a lot of that. It's like, oh, there are not that many people. I think like I think we could like I think it's important to have everything in one document. We could kind of make it and we maybe like having like sections, collapsible sections. You can link to a specific section as well. You can kind of link to a specific section and it jumps right to it. But we don't want people just to look at one thing, and especially the beginning is kind of like an overview. So that's important too, right? So I don't know. It's not that much. You can basically screen the things that don't apply, just jump. I don't know. I don't think that's an excuse. I think it's just like creating events is very stressful.
Oh,
People are very busy. They're not taking the time because they're not prioritizing it.
maybe I'm just thinking aloud. Maybe we try sending them a short snippet and we see if that is working or not. Like I don't know why they sent it 1 month before, followed up 3 times. I mean, it's not that hard to read it. But probably I'm just thinking like in today's age, in today's age, our ability to consume information is all like we are always looking for like short posts on Twitter and probably YouTube shorts. So anything that is long, people can, I'll read it later, and then they never read it. But if it is short, they just skim through it and say, okay, only 4 points, okay, I'll arrange it interpreter. But if
Yeah.
we give them 4 pages, they will bookmark it to read it later, which they never do it.
Yeah, the reason why I think they may just ignore is because it's like I heard from some of people in this group that when they tell HR, when they have an interview and they tell HR what they need, it's still not done. So it's like in the email in short form. So it's like I feel like
I
it's
mean,
just not taken serious. I don't know, but maybe it's me. I'm very now I don't know. So maybe there are
this
people who
living,
are overwhelmed.
this living, breathing document is the best document I've seen in my entire life. It is so comprehensive, so detailed. It has so much of detail, every tiny detail. And I think it is not having the impact that we want. So maybe we need to probably change our strategy. We keep the entire page for people who want to go deep, but for people who don't want to go deep, we present them just a short snapshot at once.
This is Milad. So, does CNCF have like an AI or something in particular that would maybe synthesize our document? Yeah, maybe we can discuss that on the Slack channel. So, yeah, make sure that we keep this conversation going on dress, okay? All right. Oh, and then Alfonso. This is Alfonso. Yeah, I do want to say, so AWS, they do have like a community event. Sometimes it's like there's not enough time in advance. So like say if it's like July or August, okay, fine. We have about a month. But sometimes if it's too close, like less than a month in advance, it's not going to work out. This isn't a lot. No, I feel like a month is plenty of time for them to get interpreters. Um, you know, a month in advance should be good enough for them to set up captioning and also interpreters. It's not that hard. They should be able to do it within 2, 3 days' time. This is Andres. I do want to clarify something. When I showed up to the summit, to the community event, oh, I see Jay has his hand up. This is Jay. Go ahead, Andres. So it seems like they had like a technology issue with the captioning. That's what their excuse was. Also, the lighting and the setup of the TV for captioning was really bad. And they recommended for me to use the phone for captioning. And unfortunately, it just was not accessible for me to look at my phone and also look at the presenter. It was just a huge strain on my eyes. Oh, this is Malad J. This is Jay here. Yeah, I have a few questions. Well, three. So the community day, that is the same time every year, same dates, that community day, same time. Malata Day? What do you mean by day? Yeah, the community day for AWS event. Is it the same time every year in Mexico? This is Alfonso. I don't know. Because I know that they have that summit and then they also have a community day. I'm not sure. This is Jay. So maybe you can give them feedback so that they're prepared for next time. And if we have allies, like folks within AWS that understand our needs, and I saw Rob already said he's already on it. He would usually reach out to AWS and say, "Hey, what's going on?" So allies are important. Yeah, finding folks who are on the executive team that can bring attention and awareness to what's going on is important. So you said you emailed them 3 times, and sometimes it's best to check in every other day because if they don't respond quickly, maybe check in more often with them would be a suggestion. We'll go ahead and switch interpreters.
Yeah, Malad saying this seems to be another another battle, another fight that we need to fight and that we need to work together to see if we can bring some greater success moving forward. I know compared to previous times, there has been some improvement because of this team, which is amazing. And I know that we can do even more through brainstorming. So we will have this discussion moving forward on just how to bring greater improvements moving forward. And Andrea is saying, from my experience, accessibility is typically pretty good. But with AWS, it was obviously very difficult. The event that was actually back in 2003 that I went to, we prepared well in advance. And yes, and just to clarify, it was 2003. And I think it was maybe many months in advance that we requested accommodations. And we didn't have a group to work with during that time, but we did finally get an interpreter and the accessibility was really good. There was no captioning, but we did have an interpreter. And then now that we have best practices, I know it's of course been a lot of work. And this situation was quite unfortunate, but I know with best practices it will be better. Mrs. Malad, I think it's amazing that we have this topic to even talk about because it will only yield greater improvements in the future. Do we have any other comments to be added to this topic? Okay, so we have 13 minutes left for this meeting. Looking at the agenda here. I think there's one thing I did want to add, or Sandeep, did you have something that you would like to add? Sandeep?
Good, good.
Okay, great. So one thing that I wanted to add, and it seems to be an important topic. So for Atlanta, do we have hotel plans or plans for hotels, or is bookings, or what are your thoughts on that? And Jay is saying, I think it depends. Malad's saying, for those of you who have experience being in Atlanta, are there any recommendations? And this is Travis. I have a separate comment. I've learned my lesson with which hotels to choose from. And last time, yeah, anyway, I've learned my lesson. And was there another, Catherine?
Yeah. Just wanted to say, as usual, yeah, I mean, it's good to book early and make sure it is cancelable. It's always easy to cancel. And the closer it gets to the conference, the more difficult and more expensive it gets. So I know it's kind of annoying to book something if you don't even know if you can go, if you get the funding, but it's painful if you have to do it later and then pay a lot of money as well. So yeah, just book something now as close as possible to the venue and make sure yeah, it's cancelable and like you have a short-term cancellation fee. And I think like the hotel rooms should be the hotels the conference is working with should be listed already. I know my company has already booked them, so we do that very early on. And another thing, just because it's there, I just posted it in the Slack channel because we've been talking about the best practices. So for the interpreters, in case you're interested and use them for your clients, we are publishing lots of best practices that should be applicable for a lot of people. So yeah, please share. Please check out the link and see what's usable or useful for your clients as well. The more people that can use it, the better. I think our team is doing a really good job with those best practices.
Well, I'm saying I agree. The best practices document is excellent. So I have no other topic now unless there is something else or another topic that we want to bring to the table. And Jay says, nope, I'm good. I see Travis might be thinking, but if we can't think of a topic, that is fine. Sandeep, would you, if there's nothing else that no one would like to share, Sandeep, would you mind closing us out?
Yeah, okay. I don't actually have some closing notes, but just that keep doing all the wonderful work that every one of you is doing. Andres and Poncho, for all the feedback that you got from the event. It means we still have a lot more work to do. Jay, for all the glossary and everything, keep up the good work. Just know that whatever you are doing, however small it seems now, is going to make a lot of difference in the future. And hopefully, I think the glossary, Catherine, the kind of work that has put in glossary, I think it needs to be shown during the keynote. This is really like they have put in a lot of effort. So maybe in the Atlanta, in the keynote, we need to highlight all the people who work on the glossary and the kind of work they have done.
If I only had a say in what the keynotes would include, if there would be so much more about accessibility in this group.
So I have an idea. If you remember, they actually show all of the projects. You remember in the keynote they show the project Amdes. You remember? Each project I'm there, they show.
But like technical
Project
projects.
I'm there. Project I'm there. Each project lead is they give that I'm there, 1 minute video. Do you remember that, Harim?
Oh, the videos, like the Linkerd video, like the actual video. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So we could have the same kind of video.
No, that's only for graduated projects. That's not even for all CNCF projects.
We can get an exception. We can just talk. We can. I mean, like that talking. There is no
Well,
harm.
you can ask, but I mean, we've gotten on the keynote at the beginning. Like Rob was the first one who was completely invited, like out of the blue. Before the 2 other times, there was a lot of lobbying on my part, so it's hard. But it works sometimes. So yeah, sure, ask, but just like to get set the expectations a little bit, it's very hard because everyone wants to be on the keynote. My argument was always, this is really important. This is more important than other things. So that's why I was so persistent, and we got there twice included. And then that's, and then after all the work we've done, and then like, Rob just gets invited. So it's like, that's like, at some point it just happens on its own. But sure, feel free to ask for it, and maybe they are willing to do that. But just they did change something since last time. They're not during the keynote, they're before the keynote now. So it's only for the people in the room. They don't show them during the keynotes anymore since London.
Yeah.
So they repeat them. They repeat them every day. They repeat them, but it's while people are waiting for the keynotes to start. Which I don't know if I love it. I think it was better before, but still.
Good point. Yeah. Good point.
Travis is saying thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi.
Rob, in the last
Let
minute.
Rob just came in to give closing notes.
Sorry, I had another meeting going on. But thank you, Milad, for helping host. Really appreciate it. Milad saying, no problem. Saying, wow, this is a lot of work trying to keep up with the agenda. And Rob is saying, is there anything that I might be able to help with? Please let me know. And also for Alfonso and Andres, great work. I know that AWS Chicago Community Day there's going to be a booth and a laptop set up connected, but it's very hard to put the captions up on the large screen. It's just the whole process is very difficult. So it's like making do with the laptop might have to be the case. So there's really nothing to be done with the AV system until the AV system makes it more easy to actually get set up. But I guess an SDK or some sort of accommodation. But if you know anyone in AV that does conferences, if you could share that knowledge to the host and organizers and maybe write up a document on, for example, I know that there was some struggle with, I forget what it's called, OBS. It was their first time, but if there was a document that talked about the procedures, maybe that can be sent over to me so it can be posted on the blog. Not the blog, but the wiki, if we can. And Andre said, it seems like the captions were set up properly, but something went haywire. And yes, the second one, the second event, the lighting with the lighting was really bad. It made it very difficult to see. And Rob is saying, yes, there's not good AV setup where they're actually able to darken and then darken one area and lighten other parts of areas. Rod saying, we have about 1 minute left here. And Rob saying, anyway, I know you're wrapping up, but I just wanted to give my 2 cents. I'll shut up now. And Milad saying, yes, next month we can continue to speak on these things. And Sandeep, did you finish your wrap up? Okay, great. Okay, well then we will see you all next month.
And thanks to the interpreters. Bye.